innovation. In Morocco, this inspiration is rooted in an eternal dialogue with nature, a wisdom etched upon the land with ingenuity. From ancestral kataras, where the hidden pulse of water is heard, to the majestic structures that tame the horizon, the kingdom has always transformed every challenge into a solution and every rare drop into a promise of prosperity to come. Guided by the royal vision, Morocco continues to weave this promise, planning, designing, and building the future. Yesterday, the dams were a symbol of will. Today, as the world changes, the horizon of innovation expands. Water is not merely the cradle of life. It is the soul's inspiration, its ceaseless innovation. In Morocco, this inspiration is rooted in an eternal dialogue with nature, a wisdom etched upon the land with ingenuity. From ancestral kataras, where the hidden pulse of water is heard, to the majestic structures that tame the horizon, the kingdom has always transformed every challenge into a solution and every rare drop into a promise of prosperity to come. Guided by the royal vision, Morocco continues to weave this promise, planning, designing, and building the future. Yesterday, the dams were a symbol of will. Today, as the world changes, the horizon of innovation expands. Innovation in mobilizing every drop. Engineering adapts, breathing life into the heart of giants. And upon the water's surface, the sun is embraced to protect the hidden treasure. Innovation in connection. Water flows to water as a single artery, linking territories like a living pulse, to water the land of solidarity. Innovation in creation. We create fresh water from the heart of the ocean, born from a pact of wisdom and vision, powered by the sun and the wind for a sustainable future. And we weave water from the very breath of the clouds. Innovation in management. Technologies read the will of the sky and give the earth its due. And every treated drop finds a new path to life. In Morocco, innovation is a culture, a wisdom, an art of living. But this innovation has a human heart. It is vigilance, protecting lives and homes. It has a mind that dreams and builds tomorrow. Behind it all lies the soul of a nation, its know-how, its ambition, and its unshakable will to bequeath to future generations the legacy of knowledge and the power to innovate, securing the right to water and to prosperity. This is the vision Morocco shares today by hosting in Marrakesh, under the high patronage of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, the 19th World Water Congress, under the theme Water in a Changing World, Innovation and Adaptation.
Bonjour à tous, chers amis de l'eau. Merci à Ibra pour nous avoir prêté ce magnifique film qui a été proposé à l'inauguration du Congrès mondial de l'IVRA qui s'est déroulé donc à Marrakech.
In Marrakesh at the beginning of December this year. Thank you for mobilizing yourselves. You are several here in this non-ordinary hour. It will allow us to finish early for our friends from the South Mediterranean. We are providing you with interpretation services when you click on the icon of the globe at the bottom of the Zoom screen Zoom, and for your questions, of course, you can use the chat box.
For the translation, you can use the globe at the bottom of the screen and choose French English, and you can use also the chat for the question during all the presentation. Je souhaite commencer mon message de bienvenue, chers amis, par rappeler à
start my
tous
welcoming word
et
by
particulièrement à
reminding
nos
you,
amis
all of
espagnols et
you, and
marocains,
particularly
dont nous
our
rappelons
Moroccan
notre
and
importance
Spanish
chez eux,
friends,
comme un
that
exemple
we
qu'ils
are
puissent
very close
enseigner
to
avec
and we are very,
trop d'eau malgré la sécheresse chronique, afin
and,
que cette
and
malheureuse de
despite
cette
the
belle Méditerranée
droughtness,
qui
this feature of the Mediterranean
encore une
Sea,
fois
who is
vu la
again
mort de plusieurs dizaines de personnes à son
the
pic,
cause
pas
of
de décès
several
heureusement en
years,
Espagne, mais des dégâts considérables à
nothing
Tarragone
in
et Valence notamment.
Spain, but in
Donc
Tarragon and Valencia
nous avions
here,
dit
and
qu'il y
again.
aurait un avant et un après
We said that
2024,
there will be
plus de 200
repercussions in
victimes avec la donne,
2024,
cette
more
fameuse
than
méthode froide.
200 victims.
Des progrès ont été faits, notamment en
Progress have
Espagne, au
been
Maroc,
made,
avec
especially in
l'amélioration
Morocco
du
and
système
Spain, with the
d'alerte
improvement
précoce
of the alerting system
et que
and
tous les
early
participants du
systems
kick-off
with
d'ailleurs à
all participants
Barcelone ont
of
pu
the
tester
kickoff
en
in
novembre
Barcelona
dernier en
have
live, en direct.
testified and
Mais nous avons encore des progrès à faire,
of
tant en
this
matière de
progress, but we
prévision que
have
de
to make
prévention
some
et
progress
d'alerte
in terms
précoce
of
associée
preventions
au plan
and
communal de
early
sauvegarde. Ce
alerting
n'est pas
at
un
the
expert du
level
lac,
of
mais expert
municipalities.
international et pilote de
And
ce club aviario
our
qui me
experts
contredira.
working with the Mediterranean
Et il y
Institute
a
here
aussi
will be my message,
là,
reconfirm
j'étais
what I'm
en
saying.
quantité sur l'Atlas,
And when we're
c'est
talking
le
about
présage
quantities
pour
on the
meilleure efficacité des
Atlas
barrages
area
au prochain
for
ouragan.
better productivity of
Approche de
bridges and
Noël,
dams, we are getting closer to
également, j'ai
Christmas
souhaité avoir un
parties, and
message
I'd
pour la
like
Palestine
also to transmit
et Gaza en
a message
particulier,
for
qui
Palestine, in
traverse
particular
des
Gaza, who is
souffrances indicibles
witnessing
aggravées par des
a
inondations
sufferness
récentes
without
et des
proceeding
allusions
because of
judiciaires.
the weather
Cette
and
période
years of
meilleure
conflicts.
contraste
This the
cruellement
sparkle of
avec la réalité
hope
de
is contradicted to
dévouement
the
et d'utopie.
reality of
Que
this
Noël dans les
humanity.
fêtes est aussi gagé
Christmas
par les plus grands sels et sans les familles sans abri,
and rain and
sans abri seuls,
massive
avec les enfants
risk of
exposés au froid,
without
à la maladie,
houses,
conditions
children
de
exposed
bombardement
to
passées
cold
ont déjà tout
while
donné.
being bombarded,
Au lieu de
and
joie et de
that
partage, c'est le
destructed
mal-être
everything.
vers l'isolement qui prévaut.
In order of
Pendant chaque
celebrating,
fête,
they are,
une épreuve supplémentaire.
submerging
C'est un
and
appel à l'espérance et aux anciens
swimming
combattants de cette fin d'année,
in the
un appel
desperate
à la
and the
communauté
gloomy area.
internationale pour
It's an
redonner au peuple
international call
palestinien
in
la
order
dignité
to
qu'il
give
mérite comme
them
toute sa
their
chance.
dignity like every
Chers amis de
nation
l'eau,
and
aujourd'hui le
populations.
thème de l'eau,
Dear friends of water,
certains diront
today
c'est too much.
it's
Il y a mieux en disant
some people are
enfin
saying it's too
l'eau est
much. Here
devenue
we
un
are
sujet
saying
majeur qui
water
commence
is
à
a
être
major
abordé par
theme and
tous.
topic that is
Jeudi
covered
dernier,
by
lors d'une conférence
everyone.
sur le thème
Last
décarboner
Thursday we
les
have
villes et
topic
territoires,
decarbonize
clé pour un
territories,
environnement
the key
meilleur.
territories for a better
Esther,
environment,
Esther
and
Closer-Delbourg, l'économiste de l'eau
Closer
et
Delbous with his
fondatrice
economist
du
of
Water
water
Wiser,
and
partenaire
founder
de
of Water Wise
l'IME,
and partner
intervenait sur
of
le
our
thème
institute intervened
l'eau,
on the topic
le nouveau carbone.
water, new
Pour
carbon
Esther,
of
l'eau est
our
perçue
era.
comme
For
une urgence énergétique
It's
prioritaire,
an urgent and
surpassant
climatic
même le CO2
priority
en termes de criticité
in
immédiate.
terms of
Contrairement au carbone, vu comme une
immediate
externalité
conversions
polluante,
and see
l'eau est une
as
ressource
a
vitale sans
polluting
laquelle
water is a vital
l'évolution
resource, and
agricole et
without
écosystème
it,
s'effondre.
we can
Deuxième
we
problème,
will witness the collapse
dans
of the
une seule
ecosystems.
région,
You'll
comme la
see that any
Méditerranée,
one
nous
area
avons
like
perdu témoin.
Mediterranean Sea
Nous
during the
avons
last
participé
trimester,
5
we have
événements
participated
d'ampleur,
due for
avec
five
la 8e Cairo
major
Water Week,
October
qui a réuni au
Water
Caire plusieurs
Week
milliers de
held in
participants,
Cairo with a
plus de
thousand
90
participants,
organisations, 125
more than
sessions,
90
ainsi que 4
NGOs and
que le
several
92e
sessions
du
and
Conseil mondial de l'eau
another
et la conférence annuelle
International
du
Council of
gouvernement
Water and
méditerranéen
the
sur
International
le
Conference
thème des finances
for
et
the
investissements dans
Federation of
l'eau.
Union and
Ce
Investing
fut
in
également
Water. It
l'occasion
was
pour
the
nos amis
occasion and
du One
opportunity
Water
for our
Committee
friends of
Italie
One
de
Water
présenter les
Committee
premiers
Italy in
résultats
order
des water
to share with
projects
them
menés
preliminary
sur les
results of
trois
water
rives de la
projects
Méditerranée en
done on
2025
the
par
three rivers of
l'association du
Mediterranean
SIAM
Sea
et du
by the
Maghreb Ouest
Association
Afrique,
CM and Water
Maghreb,
Arabic Sea,
Mashreq et
Maghreb,
Balkan.
Mashrek,
Nous
and
étions
Balkan
une
areas.
vingtaine de membres
We
présents.
were 20
En novembre,
partners
la plateforme eau des
on
côtes
November
en vue de la
water
prochaine
platform
déclaration
of
du
the
CSO qui a réuni les
European Union
représentants
that
des 43 pays
gathered representatives of
membres,
several countries
réunion
who
auquel
are member
nous avons
parties.
été
And
conviés,
during this
invités
meeting,
en
we
tant
have been
qu'observateurs.
invited as
Je vous rappelle que la déclaration
observers.
ministérielle
I'd
est
like to
deuxième
remind you
seulement
that
depuis la
the
création de l'UfM en
ministerial
2011
declarations
et
since
prévue
2011 is
pour être présentée à
planned
Rome
to
le
be
26
presented
mars
in
prochain.
Roma
Frédéric
for the coming
Dominacin, que je salue,
March
senior policy
25th.
advisor pour
He's
le
a senior
secrétaire
policy
général
advisor
de
at
l'eau pour
the
la
General
Méditerranée,
Secretariat for
nous
the
en
Union for
présentera les
Mediterranean
contours
and
dans
will
quelques instants.
give us the most
Un
important
accord avec
contours in a few
l'UPM
minutes.
et le One
An
Water
agreement with the
Committee
European
nous
One Water
aideront
Committee
opportunément à assurer le kick-off du
allowed
prochain
us
forum
to start
méditerranéen
the
de l'eau
kickoff
en
of the next
2026,
forum
juste à
for
la suite de la
2026 physics following the publishing of the World Platform. It's a very important method due to the challenges and the several several important topics. All of this will allows us to present One Water Committee Italy presentations, and would like to express all my thanks to Emilio. The kickoff gathered more than 100 participants coming from more than 25 countries, with representatives of more than 20 partner institutions from the region with whom we exchanged, and for some of them, they were able to deliver their messages. COP as a major challenge, that was had during the last November. Several members of the IME were able to be present, and as Angela Caras, and representative of Spain, asked them to send their feedbacks about this event. What we read on different pages of Facebook, etc., social media, COP are not centering on water. Our favorite topic about water in Belém is a very important oceans and providing system, etc., not for water only, but with very important conclusions about Enrique and Jawad shared the most important, conclusions. The 90th Congress of the International Water Association that was held in Marrakech from the 1st of December to the 5th of December is an opportunity to gather a whole range of each year. The association is organizing the international systems in turn, so with the Congress on Islands since the establishment of this area for 2 years. The second international dedicated to islands will be the next year in Jamaica, and we will attend also the 80th Congress in Ibra will be always held here in Istanbul 2027. Our institution have not participated for the international conferences of the IBRA, but we have very beautiful representations by co-organization with high-level partners and collaborations with National Conversation from Seattle in the United States, a high-level panel dedicated to the innovations, and they participate in the organizing of a specific session on quality of reusing water and agriculture in partnership with the FAO, and we intervened during several 16 participants, several organizations like Monaco, l'USOSS, UNESCO, and UfB, and Cortica Water Agency would like to take this opportunity in order to thank the organizers of this 90th conference, and in particular the representative of the Minister of Water for the quality of the organizations and covering to us the organizations, the logistics, but we'll be back when talking about because we have Vice President of IBRA and co-organizing these forums and the censuses that have been by the President of the Technical Scientific Committee of Muqtafa, relying on the different notes and observations. Sorry, we missed a time, but we didn't have enough time to gather the whole group and participate. Without due delay, let's move to the conclusion of water for 2026 Roma, or sorry, no, March 25, 26. Thank you everyone for being here. You have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. First, I would like to join my my full agreement with your words, Alain, at the beginning on both what's going on now in Palestine and also on the events in Safi, Morocco, and in Spain. This adds to the tragic events that we are seeing more and more often in the region. I would like to start with a big thank to you, Alain, Malika, and Ida, and the team working with the Mediterranean Water Institute. I have the feeling that 2025 has been a turning year in our cooperation, and it will lead us to very important activities in 2026. But more importantly, it has helped strengthen the UfM Union for the Mediterranean Water Agenda. And that's what is important because it's to the benefit and to the service of our member states. And I think also together with the One Water Committee, and I want to also send my best regards to Emilio Cialo from the One Water Committee and Filippo Soccodato. We have, I think, started to build a strong and strategic relationship that will help bring the Mediterranean agenda into the global agenda. And that's very important, and especially towards the Euromed Forum in Rome and towards the UN Water Conference in 2026. And before I start with UfM agenda, I would like to insist on the fact that it's very interesting that over the last 40 years, there were no UN conference on water. And in 2023, now 2026 and 2028, there will be 3 UN conference on water. So when Morocco indicates that it's about innovation adaptation, I think they are very right. It's about water adaptation. It's about water resilience. So the UfM started on water 10 years ago. It was in Malta with the first ministerial declaration, which was approved by the 43 UfM member states. This ministerial declaration was a political agreement among these 43 countries. And this is what has guided our work since then. We have produced several strategies aligned with this declaration, including the financial strategy for water, the UfM water agenda, and the UfM water and youth engagement strategy. And this is what I will present today, and I will then focus on the future, especially towards the second ministerial meeting, which will take place in Rome in March 2026. When we prepared the water agenda 10 years ago, we focused on 4 areas. The UfM Nexus, water, energy, food, ecosystem, Nexus. We had another pillar, which was water, employment, and migration. We had a third one, water, sanitation, and hygiene. And then we had water and climate action. These were the pillars around which we organize our activities. And we have done a kind of recap, the main takeaways from each year. In 2017, 2018, it was the years to lay the foundations of the water program. And Alain, you certainly remember, because at that time there was already strong cooperation with IME. This is when we prepared the strategies. And then that led us to 2019, 2020, where we expanded the agenda. Then 21, 22 was a momentum where we started actively disseminating the agenda in the region. We had the first UfM annual conference on water and investment in Rome, but then we moved to Cairo, to the Cairo Water Week. And this has become an annual gathering. So back to the Cairo Water Week, we have now had the 6th Water Finance and Investment Conference in Cairo. We've launched a certain number of reports of key strategies. And then in 2023, we decided to accelerate a regional consolidation. This was also a key year because we went to the UN 2023 Water Conference in New York, where we, together with partners, always with partners, regional partners, and with our member states, we actively participated in a side event on water finance at the UN conference. Then we started engaging actively in the UfM agenda, water, energy, food, and ecosystem agenda. And we had in Rabat, during the regional platform on water, UfM regional platform on water, we had in Rabat in 2023, in June, the first regional roundtable. And this was very important because this was an inclusive process that concluded a month ago with the approval, and I'll explain more later, with the approval of the UfM strategy on the UfM Nexus in the Mediterranean source to sea continuum. 2024, we continued working on the implementation of the agenda, trying to also include other dimensions, especially the youth and gender dimension. We produced several papers. We organized several workshops. And then I will go to the 2025 activities. I will zoom in. In 2025, we focus on resilience and adaptation. And I think that's very important, because that's also what will be one of the key priorities of the UfM Declaration next year. So we had several key activities, from the first ad hoc drafting meeting of the UfM Ministerial Declaration, which was in Malta in February. Then we had another key activity to support our pillar on digitalization of the water sector, with a focus on the welfare also. Then we had another line of action, which is around financing the water agenda and financing the welfare nexus. This led us to the 6th annual conference on water at the 8th Cairo Water Week in October. This is an activity that where again we organized a major workshop with the support of our partners. And I want to insist again, because this is the DNA of the UfM. It is to work to serve our member states, but to work with regional partners. Then we had the 15th UfM Regional Platform on Water. It was there's a mistake. It was not in Rome. It was in Barcelona on December 6, 7, 8. And it was organized back to back with the kickoff of the meeting of the Euromed Water Forum, which will take place in 2026 in Rome. I want to insist that we decided with IME, with the Mediterranean Water Institute, and with the One Water Committee to do it together. And that's very important, because we had, during the regional platform on water, we had our 43 member states present. And then following that UfM meeting, we organized together the kickoff meeting of the Euro-Mediterranean Water Forum. Why is this so important? For two reasons. One, because it shows that there is a strong partnership among ourselves, and also that we want to bring all our partners to work together. That's one. The second thing is because the themes, in terms of substance, are totally aligned.
La substance, pour cela, ils sont alignés. Et c'est là.
There is total coherence between what we are doing as UfM and Mediterranean Water Institute, and as well as the One Water Committee. That gives us much more strength, especially when we go to regional and international fora. Then we participated in COP30 in Brazil, but I think there will be more reporting on that. I want now to give you two examples of very concrete activities, because you know the UfM works along an agenda which is the 3 Ps. There is the first P, which is the political and policy level, including the ministerial meetings. We had the first ministerial meeting in Malta in 2017 on water. We'll have the second one in Rome in March 2026. This is the policy level. Then we have the platform institutional level, and that's very important, because this is where we bring together our partners, and we bring together also the countries at a more operational level. This is the second P. And then there is the third P, which is around projects and concrete activities. And here you have two examples of very concrete activities where we bring together our representatives from our member countries, and where we try to bring expertise, to bring finances. And so this is a kind of both capacity building process, but also a matching process. And this is extremely important to build networks that can then in the future help and leverage more financing for the countries. To the left, you see a workshop we organized at the Euromed University of Fez in February this year, where we brought together 30 youth from the region, 30 young entrepreneurs, And after 3 days of workshop, we awarded cash prizes to the 3 winners. And then they are developing now prototypes that will be brought to the next stage of incubation. To the right, you have the example of a financing workshop where we brought together GCF, Green Climate Fund experts, and representatives of member states who could be beneficiary of GCF funds. And again, we did the same in Athens 2 weeks ago, where we brought EU financial experts together with representatives from our member countries. And this is the role of the UfM, to bring together different partners, different actors, and to create dialogue to foster synergies. Now, looking ahead and looking at 2026 and beyond, we have to put our work in the context of the recently approved UfM New Vision Statement, which was approved at the 10th Regional Forum of the UfM in November 28th this year, where the Ministers of Foreign Affairs gathered and approved this New Vision Statement. This New Vision Statement will be our compass for the next 5 years. It is about connecting people, connecting countries, connecting economies in the region. It is also around the 3 Ps approach: policy level, platform, and project level. And then it's also aligned with the 4 new priorities and also the Med Pact, One Sea, One Pact, One Future, which was actually officially launched during the regional forum in Barcelona, which was also the 30th anniversary of the Barcelona process. What is important, and then I will move to the ministerial meeting and our priorities for 2026. What is important is that resilience, sustainable development, stability, and security are key, and water is, again, a key pillar, a key driver for sustainability, stability, and resilience. So when you check the priorities of the UfM New Vision Statement, you see that water is and will remain a key strategic pillar. But when you check also the Med Pact, the new Mediterranean Pact, which is the pact approved by the European Union to work with neighborhood countries, including the Mediterranean countries and also the Gulf countries, you see that water resilience, UfM Nexus are, again, key pillars for sustainability and prosperity. Very important, we'll have in Rome in 2026 a new ministerial meeting, and the main output of that meeting is the approval, endorsement by the ministers of the Ministerial Declaration that we are currently negotiating. And negotiating a declaration on water with 43 member states in a region which is a complex region is a challenge. We are progressing toward an agreement, and the process itself is extremely important because this is the opportunity to listen to our member states and also to identify priorities, the priorities of our member states. There will be 5 priorities. One, which is UfM strategy to build and to strengthen the nexus, water, energy, food ecosystem. And especially, there was already the approval of a strategy, which is called the UfM strategy for the UfM nexus in the Mediterranean source-to-sea continuum. The source-to-sea continuum is very important. It was approved by our member states. It will be attached to the declaration. And it has been prepared together with UNEP-MAP and the European Union with technical support of partners, PRIMA, WES, BCA, and GWP-MED. The second priority will be around finance and investment. And we have also a strategic document which will be attached to the Ministerial Declaration approved by our 43 member states, which is called UfM Finance and Investment Recommendations. And this has been the results of in-depth consultations, including during the Cairo Water Week. The third priority is digital transformation and innovation. And again, we have a new strategic document, which is called the UfM Strategic Framework for Digitalization of the Water Sector, which has been approved by our member states. And finally, two other key priorities, governance and climate resilience. Governance will be around integrated water resource management at basin level, and also gender and youth inclusion. And then around climate resilience, water and climate resilience, we will have a focus on early warning system, nature-based solution. And for these 5 priorities, we'll have to create and develop synergies among UfM sectors. I will finish my presentation with the key UfM dialogues and events in 2026. I'm not talking about all regional and international water events in 2026. I'm talking about the ones where the UfM has a specific role. And I will start with the UfM Ministerial meeting in March in Rome. This is very important. We'll have also the 3rd UEFE Regional Roundtable, which will take place in Cyprus. And it's important because now we are moving from the strategy to a framework of action. So we'll identify a certain number of key activities that we want to move forward. We'll have the 16th Regional Platform on Water, UfM Regional Platform on Water in June. And then this will lead us to the Euro-Mediterranean Water Forum in Rome. And I imagine that there will be more about that. This is very important. We are working with our partners, the Mediterranean Water Institute and the One Water Committee. And again, as I said, what is important is that the topics which will be approved by our ministers at the UfM Ministerial meeting are totally aligned with the thematics which will be discussed at the Euromed Forum. So this gives much more strength to the work we are doing when there is political backup. And then there is the institutional follow-up and then the operational follow-up, of course, with the need to find the right financing mechanisms. And within the Ministerial Declaration that will be approved in Rome, there is the Rome Initiative, which is a mechanism, whereby we are trying to gather, to facilitate funding for technical assistance and also for investments. And then we'll have the 7th UfM Water Finance Conference during the 9th Cairo Water Week. And finally, this will culminate with the 2026 UN Water Conference in the UAE. I stop here. And then in 2027, there's even more. I stop here, Alain, and I'm available if there are any.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frédéric, for your presentation. Thank you for being complete around 2025 and 2026. I will make a little change of the agenda of today because we have the chance to have the Professor Rabi Mokhtar with us today, which is Vice President of IVRA, and is in Texas, in University of Texas. And so with the change of hour, he can give us 20 minutes. So I will have the pleasure to change a little bit. Excuse me, Emilio, I will come back to you just after. But we have this chance to please, Dr. Mokhtar, welcome to our last webinar of the year. And so the floor is yours to make a presentation of this very magnificent Congress we had in Marrakesh. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate the flexibility. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you for the flexibility. I do teach in 30 minutes, and I appreciate the flexibility in allowing me to go now before I have to go to class. I see many colleagues and friends who attended the Congress, and by all measures, certainly it was a benchmark in the water journey. As mentioned earlier by my colleague, that the focus of the Congress that we held December 1 to 5 this past couple of weeks ago was on water in a changing world, innovation and adaptation. So this is something that we were mindful in choosing the topic, and the goal of this Congress was to inform the global water agenda, starting with the United Nations 2026 Water Conference, going into the IWRA's second Island Water Congress in 2026 in the Caribbean. And of course, towards the World Water Forum in Riyadh in 2027 and the upcoming Conference of Parties that is coming up. The Congress was designed deliberately on 7 thematic areas. And of course, these are in cross-cutting in not any specific order. I'll mention those 7 thematic areas: water governance, finance, planning during uncertainty. Of course, the most of the recent water events has always had a flavor of the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus, which was a system approach to water management was highlighted. The 3rd theme was on water security and water-related risk. The 4th theme was towards innovation and smart water future. The 5th was on groundwater challenges and opportunities. The 6th theme was on water for sustainable development. Last but not least is water quality and One Health opportunities. And I could go on and on about the interdisciplinarity and the cross-disciplinarity. For example, the One Health is one of those pillars that was highlighted also in the 2nd theme, which is the water, energy, food nexus. Let me give you some, this was the plan, but let me give you post-conference updates in terms of the who participated, what were the main legacy for that Congress. We had 1,200 participants from 80 countries. We had held a unique ministerial roundtable that included 18 ministerial delegations and 16 international organizations. This is phenomenal. I'll come back to it, what sort of an outcome we had from that ministerial roundtable. We had 4 high-level panels that we kicked off every day with a high-level panel. And we had 78 special sessions, 158 regular sessions, and over 100 posters. We introduced several new programs within in the Congress, including a lightning talk that we allowed all of the junior early career professionals in the water area to compete for a 1st, 2nd, 3rd prize. That was highlighted in the, and then there was an award associated with it highlighted at the plenary. We also introduced a new water prize for the best papers. Now, the Congress, as you know, it's an intersect of the science and policy. So beside the significant contributions in the knowledge product that was created, I'd like to pinpoint a few things that make this Congress unique. One, the focus on technology and innovation, especially as it relates to new water technologies for desalination and treatment, powered by cleaner energy and renewable. As you know, as you all know, Morocco is leading in the region when it comes to solar desalination, and they have huge plans in that area. And there were many other national plans that were rolled out, including the ones in Turkey, and some of the highlights for the trends in the desalination and mineral extraction beside the water treatment and purification. The second of those takeaways is the systems thinking that trickled all over the Congress. We had several high-level panels on systems thinking. We have numerous sessions in that area, and the new approaches to crossing discipline sectors and players within and outside the water sector. We had participants from the energy sector, from industry, from policymakers, and we have several participants from the agriculture sector and the health sector. Of course, the predominant stakeholder present was the water. The third takeaway is the ministerial dialogue I mentioned earlier. And we had, I had the pleasure to really moderate that, and we came up with a declaration that is separate from the Congress declaration. That ministerial declaration will inform the UN 2026 agenda. I'm working with the with Minister Baraka's office to really move that forward into the UN 2026 water conference in the UAE. And then, of course, there is a parallel and complementary Congress declaration that will also will be forwarded to the UN 2026 conference agenda. We have been in touch and been in constant dialogue with Mr. Diata, and he's facilitating that interaction. The fourth takeaway is the alignment with the global sustainability and water agenda, and in particular, as I mentioned, the UN 2026 Water Conference, and the outcome was one of these goals, as I mentioned earlier. Last but not least is the youth and early career engagement. There was a significant focus on this Congress on early career and youth engagement. I did mention the lightning talk, the acknowledging the significant work done by early career. And I've also have the pleasure to be working with many of the youth delegates in leading areas in the Congress, that they were speakers, moderators, and had a lot of ideas and vision to share. There are many outcomes in particular that we are working at the moment on the summary. We're working on, as I mentioned, the two declarations through the UN water process. And there has been numerous requests from many of the session moderators that the time was too short. 90 minutes for a session was too short to generate significant discussion. So there's a lot of requests to follow up with the webinars. And we are compiling themes for these webinars that will complement the outcome of the outcome of the Congress. I'm happy to take any questions. I'm happy to engage with any of you in any of these topics. But I can tell you that between the policy recommendations that we are forwarding, working on, between the promotion that getting the platform for multi-stakeholder approaches and in encouraging community engagement, we started already to work with the next host of the Congress, the government of Turkey, with the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry and Forestry, to really plan. The bar is too high now, and they have to really work. I'm sure they have the capacity to really develop an excellent program, and we'll be happy to be working with them. Thank you again for accommodating my teaching schedule, and I'm happy if there's time, if there's any urgent questions, to take any, and I'm happy to engage via email. And my last word is happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year for you all.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Rabi. It was our pleasure to have you with us today. Don't worry, we have a longer presentation about our participation in the IVRA Congress after just a little bit after you. So we will have all the chance to answer the question. If not, just in case, so we will send it to you before the end of the year, and we will be very pleased. We are very lucky in the Mediterranean Water Institute and the Mediterranean country, because the next World Water Congress will be in Istanbul. It's still Mediterranean side, so this is a good news for us.
Yeah, Ella, remember that my body is here in North America, but my heart and soul
is Lebanon.
We're entrenched in the Mediterranean. So I have a soft spot in my heart to that region.
Thank you very much, Rabi, and enjoy your end of year, and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you. So now I come back to our friend from Mediterranean, and I present my apologies to Emilio for this change. And so, Emilio, now the floor is yours to make the presentation of our future big Euro-Mediterranean forum that we will host. We'll be hosting in Rome from the 29th of September to the 2nd of October next year. Emilio, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Alain. First of all, thank you for this invitation, and I want to say hello to all the friends that I see here on the screen. Let me join to the words that you have said at the beginning, and that that Frederick has underlined about our solidarity to the friends in Spain, in Morocco, and obviously in Palestine. Let me remember also that here in Italy, Italian cooperation has approved a pack of emergency aid to Gaza of 32 millions just in the last joint committee, which is the entity that decides the cooperation aid abroad. But the relation between Italy and Palestine and all the Palestine issue, is really long, the history, and our friendship is known. But I want to stress my idea. I would like to have the forum, the Euro-Mediterranean Forum, as a place where we will talk about also the water issue in Palestine and in that region from a peace perspective. So I want to, and I'll try to do the best I can to organize a session where all the actors, even if they are not so easy to put together, but all the actors can have a dialogue and can show how water could be a bridge, could be shared in a friendly way and for the common development of all the communities. This is one of the things that we want to have in the Euro-Mediterranean Forum. Now, I think you can see the presentation. Yes, I'll try to be very quick because our Euro-Mediterranean community, how many we are, more than 700 million people with a strong GDP, but we are also a cradle of civilization, as we all know. We have 200 UNESCO sites, so we are a really important part of the world, and our culture is one of the pillar of our common area and common civilization. Please, let's go ahead. Okay. We expect more than 3,000 people in Rome for the Mediterranean Water Forum. We hope 5,000 people, but we wanted to be very moderate and cautious. We'll try to set affordable entry fees. We will sponsor, this is sure, hundreds of participants with the help of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and of our Ministry of Environment to increase the participation from all the countries, especially the southern countries. And we will try to design a pop event, meaning that this will not only for experts, but we want to involve the maximum of people and citizens in Italy, and not only in Italy, obviously, because we want to promote, to raise awareness about this new water culture. So we have to organize popular events with cultural events, musical events, artistic events, and so on, to outreach our message and to reach people. Let's go on. We will be there, here in La Nuvola. La Nuvola means cloud in Italian, so nuage. Clouds means rain, that means water. This is not the reason why we have chosen La Nuvola, but because it is a very beautiful, a very iconic center of Congress in Rome, where we are near to the metro station, so it's very easy to get to the center of the city. But at the same time, here in this center of Congress, we have enough space to host also an important One Water Expo. So we will have 2,000, as you can see, 26,000 square meters for all our forum and expo. Let's go on. 30 meeting rooms, as you see. We have the forum and the expo. for the forum, so for the debates, we are trying to focus on 5, 6. Here you can see 5 themes, 5 thematics. And our idea is to set this goal, achieving water security in the Euromed region by 2050. This means to do a lot of things in all the singular themes. I have written these five moments as different steps along the road toward the med water security. So solving the water trilemma means debating about the quantity of water, where is too little, when is too little, when is too much. So risk events, management, nexus, and so on. Then we have an aspect that we are very interested in, the quality of water, not only the quantity, but the quality. So one water for human and environment. So the importance of improving the water quality, which is a very important problem for Europe and for the Mediterranean Sea. Then we have the third step, water and communities, means governance. I can assure you that when we have started our journey along the Mediterranean coasts, in the Balkans, in Morocco, in Tunisia, and so on, governance was one of the main was one of the main issues that has been highlighted as important in our discussion and to treat in our forum. So water communities means governance, local management, and we will have the partnership of IMBO, which is, as you know, the organization of the basin authorities. They will organize a specific session in our forum. Then we have a new tech bureau, as you can imagine, the use of innovation, digitalization, and technology. And then the last, but not certainly the least point, is water, politics, and money. Because we can't do anything without the political commitment and the money. So the importance to have at the forum banks and in financial institutions and private funds and so on, and to discuss of public finance that has to be invested in our sector, private finance that has to be invested in our sector, and how new financial instruments can be or are designed in this moment that can be useful to face our challenges. Let's go on. So, okay, we can go to the other slide, because we have tried to sketch something like a tentative program. You will have session in the morning and in the evening. This is just a draft. This is just a proposal. We will have side events in the morning and in the evening after the first panel, that will be the high-level panel. So with no contemporary events, then we will have side events also during the lunchtime. Session, payment session, session organized by the Warm Water Committee or by IME and so on. So let's go on. We will try to highlight, 3 special tracks, the urban and local track, the arid countries track, and the Europe tracks. This means that we will try to in each session, in each thematic, for each issue, we'll try to have specific side events, specific workshop with a focus on the 3 different points of view: the local, urban and local dimension, the arid countries aspect, or perspective, and the Euro perspective. In this way, we'll try to suggest to everyone his special track. I mean, a person, an attendant, a participant could be interested in the arid countries tracks, and so he will be facilitated in identify the special session, the workshop, the side events that are close to his interest. So we will have these three special tracks, and I want just to highlight three approaches that we consider new, or at least we'll try to shape these approaches in a new way. The first one is the sea and freshwater continuum. You have seen that also Union for Mediterranean and Frederick has spoken about the Mediterranean source to sea continuum. We want to go beyond, because we are convinced, as in Barcelona has been said, that in the Mediterranean area, the relation between the fresh water, the internal water, and the sea is more important than in other areas, because we are a closed sea. So it's very important to have this kind of approach where sea and freshwater are not divided and separated silos, but they are really linked. The second approach is to engage new actors, so not only the traditional water actors, but also new tech industry, fashion, agri-food companies, and so on. The third approach is the importance to raise awareness projects. So the education, I've seen here my friend Zui, I hope that he will be glad about this, because it's very important to raise awareness with projects of education towards citizens, toward people, to shape, to promote a new culture for water. That's gone, but I think this was the last one. Yes. As I always said, the forum is a new hope, wants to bring solutions, want to give trust in the future without apocalyptic vision. Because we are here and I'm convinced that we have solutions. We must find money, and we must convince the political dimension to commit themselves to these issues. The presentation is ended. Let me just say that we have, as One Water, we have signed an MOU with Water Europe. This is an important organization at European level, gathering all the actors, private sector in the private sector on water, and they will help us in the European track. We are going to sign something similar with the JRC, which is a Center of Research for the European Commission. We have already this memorandum of understanding with IMBO. And UNIDO, which is an organization of the United Nations family, has decided to launch a global call on water. This was not thanks to the Euro-Mediterranean Water Forum. They have already decided to do that, but they want to present the final steps of their call. So they want to give prize and so on. In the Euro-Mediterranean Forum, the global call is on water, ocean and water, so it's completely aligned with our approaches and our values. This is another good news for us. Last two things. The first one is that in the afternoon of the 25th of March, after the ministerial, the ministerial with the approval of the Euro-Mediterranean Declaration by the Union for Mediterranean, we will try to organize an important event in the FAO premises here in Rome that will be named CO Water Summit. So we want to have an open discussion with the CEO and top management of the most important companies, which has this sensitiveness and which have a real that have understood how important is water for their business. So CEO Water Summit. And then let me remember then COP, the COP conference, the next COP conference will be in Turkey. So again, Mediterranean, again, our region. That's why it's very important that all our efforts, all the meetings that Frederick has showed us can be something like a road towards the UN Water Conference, where in December 2026, where the Mediterranean voice can have a real important voice, a real important role. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emilio, for your complete presentation. The good news you announced about the partnership of Water Europe and the other with IMBO, etc. This is very nice for the Mediterranean area. This will be the Euro-Mediterranean Forum. This is very important for us, and open to the all Arabic countries. This is also another very important message that we want together with UfM and you, One Water Committee Italy, to launch to all over Euro Mediterranean and also for the rest of the world, to understand that this is very important to maintain this association of countries together in the future. And the water is maybe the link, the most evident link between all these countries. Thank you very much, Emilio, for your presentation. And well, now I come back in the agenda in the COP, effectively COP 30 in Belém, where we didn't participate as IME, but we had the chance to have some of our members that participate at a good level, a high level. So first of all, I would like to give the floor to Enrique Cifres for Spain, that was in Belém and participate in Belém. And after we will have Jawad El Karas for Morocco. Please, Enrique, the floor is yours. Open the mic, Enrique.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. You know that I am wearing two hats. One is the IME, another is the International Commission on Large Dams. And recently, both organizations joined in some common objectives. You know, the energy and water was the first nexus. Now is developing more and more. And then our goal in the COP13, one of the goals was to start the dissemination of the World Declaration on Dams and Energy Transition and Climate Change Adaptation also. This declaration, I will remind very quickly about it, was promoted by the International Commission on Large Dams and was signed in Chengdu this year in May. The roadmap to achieve this declaration was prepared by the one specific committee in the International Commission on Large Dams and was approved by more than 100 countries in New Delhi 2024. And then after this adaptation by all the countries, we start to collect some support of other sister organizations, as IHA, International Hydropower Association, IEA, the International Commission on Irrigation and Drainage, the World Water Council, but also the IME, which support this declaration and was signed by us in Chengdu last May. And then after that, the next goal was to address these ideas, that is including a lot of recommendation for the stakeholders in the sector to promote actions to facilitate the adaptation of climate change and also the energy transition. And then the goal was next step was to attend the COP30 and try to start the dissemination for not only for organizations but also for governments themselves. And then from this moment, this is a public document that you can reach it in the website of ICOL. Then I think we can also, if you, Ellen, you think we can put it in the website of IME, of course. And this declaration face two big pillars. One is the adaptation. You mentioned recently how the climate change is exacerbating the flood risk, extreme events, also droughts. But recently we suffered in Turkey in 2020, in Greece 2023, as well as and Libya, and then Valencia this year in Palestine. This is a common risk for all the Mediterranean countries, and is the last report of IPCC identified the Mediterranean as one of the hot points for the effects of climate change, and we need to work hard in adaptation. This was the message. We were also participating in the network of resilient cities and other organizations to be more and more common policies. The other pillar that is even more demanding is the mitigation, because for the mitigation in Brazil was a very hard discussion and with few advances really. And our role there was to promote the debate, identifying the vulnerabilities of the grid and the system when we need to expand and as much as possible new renewable energy sources. And then the role of water in this strategy was highlighted, because the hydro power and especially pumper storage has to play a major role in facilitating the expansion of solar, wind, and other sources, because they need some help, as was proven in many conferences and many. And then, for example, recently in 2019 was one very, very big blackout in South America, especially in Argentina. In Argentina, what was solved thanks to the role of one big dam, Yacyretá Dam in the picture. Only one dam was the key for recovering the country, not only Argentina, but also Uruguay and south of Brazil. And this is one problem that recently has been reproduced in Spain also. In this year, in April, we suffered all the Iberian Peninsula another blackout, totally blackout, and then was clearly identified the vulnerability of the grids, the network, if the expansion of renewables is not complemented by hydro facilities. You can see, for example, in Spain that the water is located in the north of the peninsula, the sun is in the south, and then that means that the all conception of the electrical grid need to be upgraded to another scenario. This one of the problems. You can see, for example, in Spain, this year we suffered a blackout when the solar was a very big component. That is possible to manage this question, but with enough hydropower accompanying this process, that you can see that was very, very small contribution of the hydro in this moment, and maybe the cause of this blackout. Another important thing is to highlight the role of the dams in the energy transition is that the best solution is not to build new dams, but most of the cases is to take advantage of the dams that are already on operation, but can be complemented with a upper reservoir or some complementary facilities. And this is for example, it's proven that this is the best in terms of timing for commissioning, also in cost and a lot of advantages. And that means that this is a new role for the existing dams to play in the next future. Another issue to discuss in COP was about how we can push the investment in renewable with water and energy nexus. And we had several discussions and in terms of the financial part of this problem. The message that was presented with many other organizations like TerraMed, who are IRINA, and the Union for the Mediterranean also, was to discuss how to provide financing for this kind of project. And our idea is to work also not only in financing, but also in some improvement of the market framework. That is one of the costs, because it's not pay the services that are provided by water. And then the proposal is that one of the problems is the renewable energy and the pump and storage are paid in different ways, but it's necessary to make a synergy between both, and the best even is to promote partnerships by the producers of renewable and hydropower. And this is our idea that was transmitted, and in my opinion was well received by other stakeholders. But unfortunately, in the political process were not too much advanced in reaching some engagement, but really not the expected, but some few advances, and then give us some little hope for the future. That's my quick presentation about our role in COP30. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Enrique. Yeah, very nice presentation, and we will be very proud to be represented by you and Jawad in the COP30. I think that the water is more important every day. I was contacted a few months ago by the Observatory of Mediterranean Observatory of Energy and Climate, and 10 years ago there wasn't very interesting in participating in things with us, but now the things have changed, and they are very interesting in speaking with us about the strategy we could have together, energy and water. Well, so without water there is no energy, definitely, and without energy we could have water, but we have to bring it. It's not so easy. So one and the other depend on the other. Okay, thank you very much, Enrique. I will have the pleasure to give the floor to Jawad Alcaraz from Morocco. Jawad is a very old friend of IME, a good member. He participates in a lot of events in energy, but in water also. He's a man of water, and became also a man of energy. And Jawad, please, the floor is yours. Please, slowly, Jawad, slowly.
Thank you so much, Alain. If you allow me, I will switch to French. Donc, bonjour à tous.
So, hello everyone. Allow me to start with a word I was going to say a few words like Alain, Emilio, and Frederic on what's happening in Gaza, and also our thoughts to the victims of the dramatic floods in Safi in Morocco. I'd like to express my condolences to all the families. These disasters remind us every day of our humanitarian role to protect lives, but also to strengthen the resilience of the people for this time, the face of such disasters. This goes, of course, through the early warning systems and sustainable water management themes, of course, of COP30, Belém, and others. I am Jawad Al-Kharraz. I'm here as the hat of a member of the IME. I'm also a CEO of Solid, which is also, I'm going to try to present a few slides on the position of water during COP30. So we'll go to the second slide. This COP was very symbolic. Let's say after this Belém, and this context, what the target of 1.5 degrees was. This had to be the COP of all actions. We actually recorded significant achievements, but also deep disappointments in relation to the significant achievements. I will mention a fair transition for the first time, the link between the rights of the marginal communities and formally recognized with a historic request. Secondly, regarding financing, the numbers for this by 2035 and the tripling of funds for progress. There are a major progress, even if their practical implementation is yet to be seen, given the increase of climate deniers, discourse and narrative. This was an important signal for the science, and at the symbolic level in Belém to place, the tropical forest and biodiversity at the heart of the carbon limit. So, as I said, the disappointments were deep. The exit from fossil energies, despite the agreement of 80 countries, there is still no roadmap for departure from this, blocked by a small number of producing countries. Also, insufficient ambitions. The current NDCIs leave us on 2.5, even 2.9 degrees, which means a very big difference from what is in, and also the presence of the lobbyists for fossil energies, and this meant even more difficulty, which is gradually essential for this. So it's in this difficult context that there was an important refocus of this COP30 gave a fundamental paradigm changes. For many years, the climate was only about CO2. Today, we understand that 90% of climate change are expressed in the water cycle with mega droughts. So I would say in Morocco, destructive, floods, as we say in Safi, chronic water stress. So the water is no longer a separate sector. It is a vector of the crisis. It becomes the necessary prism to see these offers down our ecosystem. So this is a strong, signal for integrated and fair climate. We cannot build this resilience on the societies broken up by this. So regarding the applications of this or of this COP30 on water, I will mention this, theoretical increase of the integration of water
security as becoming a key indicator for more national climate commitments. This means in the past, water was treated in a peripheral area only after a disaster. Today, now, key indicators on access to water, sanitation, and resilience of water systems have become measurable indicators to measure a country's progress in terms of adaptation. So it's become an important tool for accountability. So the countries have to report on their progress on these indicators, taking water from a technical point to a political commitments, other implications regarding funding and integrated actions. These are now two new key dynamics: more funding and more targeted funding to triple funding for adaptation by 2030, mostly on blue solutions, so mostly based on nature-based, such as the coastal and mangrove restorations that feed biodiversity, and investment in sustainable system. Second, fewer silos. The water must be integrated into the CDN and national water plans. This promotion of IWM and including the water energy food nexus and national program for water must include its mark and importance for this at the level of my commitment at the COP. I participated to a certain number of meetings, or COP 30 was there to carry this integrated approach for the Mediterranean and MENA regions, one of the regions most affected by water stress, as you know. At the Oman Pavilion, we demonstrated how circular economy models can close the water energy climate loop, for example, with some pilot projects that use solar energy for desalination and for brackish water. So we also mentioned projects in Morocco, Jordan, and for the Moroccan ministerial event, I presented Nexus EAF solutions on wastewater reuse, such as the project for the use of treated used waters in Marrakesh, and also the Khirbet Samra station in Jordan. That's another example that was mentioned. And of course, the desalination plant in Agadir, Morocco. This, reduces pressure on the water table and creates more urban security. So the risk in our regions, our technical efficiency is no longer sufficient. We need to have a net positive effect that improves the quality of while creating local jobs. Also regarding the TerraMed initiative, this initiative is at the heart of this TerraMed. Our objective is 1 terawatt of renewable energy in the Mediterranean by 2030. The idea is that this is designed to win synergy with water resources and water expenses. So we insist on the fact that the development of mega power plants, solar power plants, are linked to availability of water for cooling, for cleaning, and also for the health of ecosystems. In COP 30, we highlighted this through the UfM Declaration on Green Industrialization, and also by supporting the Global Climate Action Agenda. Each euro invested in solar or wind must also contribute to a more sustainable management of water and decarbonized industrialization and sober and resources. Of course, the challenges, and there are many of these, challenges, opportunities. The political framework is here, but the road is full of obstacles. So the indicators for GGA are voluntary for now. So without any national political pressure, they may remain only an idea. The real test will be in 2 years with the first reports on the level of data governance. So they need to be better data and stronger local institutions to collect this data. This is a major challenge at the level of financing. We're talking about fair funding or financing. So we need to have this for these 1.4 are not loans, but they are not part of debt, and they also reach the coastal communities. The farmers and the cities are most vulnerable, and not just major infrastructure projects. So to summarize, the COP30 gave the responsibility to territorial actors, governments, and actors. So I will conclude here with a few, comments that has given us three main messages for our regions. The era of siloed approaches is ever. We can no longer dissociate water from energy and food and social justice. Water and energy are the two sides of the same coin for building our resilience and sovereignty. And the Mediterranean is a living laboratory for building this integrated with its extreme water stress and climate with this into renewables and integrated and to build an integrated, just and actionable future for that is being called. So I'd like to thank you for your attention. I will be pleased to answer any questions or exchanges on my presentation. You have the floor, Alain. Thank you, Jawad, for this great presentation that summarizes the challenges of COP30, and especially the fact that this Belém COP30, even if the results are not identified or specific, but very positive. We see that can see now water is a cross-cutting, subject, and which is the need necessary for all this. So important. We can see that it's increasing. Our Italian friends understood this. So for this, we dedicated to these aspects. That is also understood the merchant industrial sector and the private or commercial sector, the cosmetics, the private sector of luxury items, and also the private sector that need to present this. Everybody understands that we need to integrate in the financial forecast is also the forecast for these, and also for the general, it becomes an important challenge. And we now finally have arrived to this. It's something good has been done. Doesn't mean that's easy, but at least if everyone is aware already of the risk, now we can say the solutions will be come on their own, and knowing that what's needed is to follow up on economic development of huge areas such as Africa and Asia and Latin America, and that we're not going to wait and sit in their corner without doing anything.
That requires water development and of course energy, but we have this tendency of thinking essentially in carbon and energy. Today we are convinced that things are going to change, and we are putting mostly in the middle of the village in order to start progressing as a figurative. Thank you for the summary. Let me come back now for the last international event that was held in Marrakesh with the presentation by Mr. Mokhtar, who is the president of the committee and technical committee. Synthesized, let me remind you that he participated in the organization of this Congress as an expert and president of the scientific committee. I'll give him the floor for the general presentation, and you'll see that conclusions are very important. You have the floor, Mokhtar.
Mokhtar, peut-être reconnecter le micro, s'il te plaît.
Can you use the microphone? Press on, please. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to activate my microphone. Thank you, Alain. Do you hear me? Yeah.
J'ai fait une récapitulation de la participation de l'IME au congrès.
A summary of the participation of the IME in this participation. I've started.
J'ai commencé par citer les thèmes.
I started by mentioning the different topics and themes. I'd like to comment that all different necessary comments have been brought to these themes. So I'd like to move to the third slide. The IME was present in the advisory council. Monsieur Alain Messonnier, who is the president of the MWI, and we have been equally present in the programming committee. I'm the one who was representing the Mediterranean Water Institute. And next slide, please. We have been present in the high-level panel under the title Accelerating the Transition from Nature-Based Water Resources Management and Artificial Intelligence. And Alain, our president, was the moderator, facilitator of this high-level panel. The objective of this high-level panel was to see the responsible water management with a view to improve its governance and resilience. The key points of this high level were the following: learning to use water to meet the real needs of different users while avoiding waste, promoting the circular economy and returning it to nature in good conditions so that nature can ensure the sustainability of the solution it provides, as promote the use of satellite solutions to better monitor RI and plan the use, promoting the use of artificial intelligence and digital technology through capacity building. Next slide, please. We have been equally present during a special session entitled Risks Related to the Use of Water Resources in Non-Conventional Agriculture. And it was piloted with the FAO. We have been present, the Mediterranean Water Institution, with the FAO. Upon the request, let's say, of the FAO. And during this special session, Mr. Messonnier was the facilitator, and the objective of this session is to assess the risks associated with the use of non-conventional water resources in agriculture and to propose solutions in order to mitigate them. I wrote down the key points of this session. It's related to the use of water, water resources and conversion, and water scarcity and competition between different water sources make conventional water resources insufficient to meet current and future agricultural needs, particularly in arid and semi-arid regions. The use of unconventional water is becoming an essential element of sustainable water management and agriculture, and the need of integrated approaches combining technical, socio-economic, regulatory, and environmental approaches. Next slide, please. We have been also present during a session organized by Turkish and Mr. Alain Messonnier and Jawad Al-Kharaz have been panelists. This session have the main objective of innovation and policies for climate resilience. And the key points of this session were the following. There was necessity formulated in order to adopt what follows: collaborative governance, cross-sectoral partnerships, innovation-driven solutions, and harmonizing science, technology, and public policy. Next slide, please. I'm sorry. My mind is like overlapping between two languages. So we have been attending a session on water quality, have been the moderator of the sessions with another, and the as a facilitator, driver, and moderator. The objective was reducing the impacts of pollution on water resources. And the key points of this session were the use of advanced magnetic nanomaterials, enabling the detection and efficient removal of program present by Argentina, large-scale drinking water monitoring program um, using field surveys and multispectral imaging to track algal blooms present by Spain, digitalizations of water for water resource quality management planning. It was presented by South Africa. For the Morocco presented the reduction of pollution in the Sibus Basin from olive oil press wastewater through the recommendation of treatment solutions using a participatory approach involving stakeholders.
Participative impliquant les parties prenantes. La Colombie a montré
And Colombia shed the light on the importance of monitoring real-time monitoring of water resources quality in watersheds with agro-industrial activities. Next slide. Jawad Al-Kharraz has been the moderator of the session entitled Desalination Opportunities and Challenges. The objective of this of the session and to show and put in and to value the desalination is to demonstrate the importance of desalination in the context of water stress increasing in Morocco and the Mediterranean area, and the key points were the need to integrate renewable energies, the importance of environmental management of brands, use of innovative financing methods, and the value of a regional vision to be adopted for sustainable governance in order to limit ourselves to a national vision. Next slide, please. And this is again panelist Jawad Al-Kharaz in order to follow up the session, future research session for the with Nexus. The objective is lessons learned from a decade of implementing the water, energy, food, health nexus, case of Morocco and Jordan. We have stressed three key points. Political will and appropriate funding are needed to scale up pilot projects to meet research objectives. All stakeholders, let's say, must be involved in this scheme of governance, and the session showed the value and the interest of Nexus financing tools and integrated indicators. Next slide. We have a session called Major Project for Adaptation and the Climate Change in the MENA region. Jawad Al-Kharraz have been a member and a panelist. The main objective of this session was to bring a sort of analysis of structured project in Morocco and Jordan. The key points were the importance of the partnership between the two sectors, public and private, and cooperation and the multi-sector holder corporations, the career of blended finance like the Green Fund, the development banks, and the need equally to link projects to security, foods, and job creation. Next slide. There's a session scaling up the resilience of water resources in economies of countries of underdeveloped countries. Had been a panelist, and objective is to the presentation of the policy center for the New South And the key points were a proposal of four
à
pillars
la
for transitioning
résilience,
to
une
resilience,
autorité unique
a
de
single
résilience
water
climatique,
resilience
traiter
authority
les
with
eaux
enhanced
usées
powers,
comme un
treating
actif
wastewater as
caritaire,
a bankable asset,
lancer des
and
obligations
launching
de résilience
resilience
et
bonds indexed
créer
to
des
water
pactes
security, and
régionaux
creating a
de
regional
coopération
cooperation
sur
pact
les ressources
on
hydrogènes. Slide
unconventional
suivant.
resources. Next slide, please.
J'ai demandé aux
I
participants,
asked the participants and member of
de
the
me dire
MYI
leur coup de cœur
to
pour
share
cette,
with us the things that were
pour ce
very close to
congrès.
their heart and things
Alors,
that
j'ai
attracted them the most during
relevé
this Congress.
certains
And
de cœur,
I wrote down
notamment les
some
capteurs
of them,
connectés
especially
à
the
Bacchus, le centre d'étape souterrain,
low-cost connected
l'intelligence
centers for monitoring
artificielle prédictive
groundwater, the
pour
predictive
anticiper
AI
les
to
périodes
anticipate periods of
difficiles,
drought,
des
um,
projets de crédit bleu
credit
pour
projects,
valoriser les
blue credit
sobriétés
projects in order to
énergétiques,
promote water conservation
renforçant les
and water
liens entre
sobriety,
l'eau et la
strengthening the link
sécurité
between water and
alimentaire et la
food/energy
sécurité
security,
énergétique, gouvernance
and an integrated governance
intégrée,
between
et puis
parentheses,
la
nexus, and
création,
multi-sectoral,
le lancement
and the
du centre
launching of
d'excellence
Center
à Marrakech
of
pour
Excellence in Marrakesh for the
l'organisation
observation
des
of unconventional
inondations.
waters. And this is for the
Je
maintenance
vous
of the
remercie
unconventional waters.
pour votre attention.
Merci beaucoup pour ce résumé
Thank you.
exhaustif
Thank you
For
very
this
much for this
exhaustive
exhaustive
sur
summary
notre participation et sur l'intérêt de
on
participer
our
à ce type
participation and in
de
the
congrès
interest in
mondiaux lorsqu'en plus ils
participating in
sont
this
dans
type
notre région,
of
ce qui
World
sera le cas,
Congress,
comme je le
especially
rappelais
when
tout
they're
à
held in
l'heure
our region,
au professeur
which will be
Rabi,
the
et ce
case,
sera
as already
également le cas dans
remained,
2 ans,
Professor Rabi, and which
puisque
will be
ça
the
aura
case
lieu, le
also in
congrès
2 years, because
aura
the
lieu à
Congress
Istanbul.
will be held in Istanbul.
Donc merci beaucoup
So
pour
thank you
donner un
very
coup de
much.
cœur
In
à
our,
un certain nombre qui correspondent aux
love
acteurs de l'IME ou en
struck,
tout cas au
so there
travail
are
que
many
l'IME
that
a fait
correspond
pendant
to the
ces 3-4
EMOs,
dernières années.
love
Et donc
ladies that we have
ça me
done
fait
over
plaisir
the past
de
3-4
voir qu'en
years. And
fait
so I'm happy
dans
to
les
see
congrès
that, in
mondiaux,
fact,
on retrouve
during a
des
world
idées phares qui ont
or
été
global
ou
conferences,
étudiées ou développées
we
ou
find
proposées
we see ideas that were proposed or studied or
par
viewed
l'Institut, en
before
tout cas, que
by
ce
the
soit dans la
Institute, or
finance
whether in
ou que ce
finance,
soit
or whether it's
dans le centre
in
d'excellence ou que
the
ce soit
centers of
dans le
excellence
UFE
of the
avec
EMA, or the
bien sûr
WEFE.
tout ce qu'a
Of
dit
course, everything that was
notre ami Frédéric
said
tout
by
à l'heure.
our
Ça m'a
friend
fait plaisir de voir que
Frederick
dans les
earlier.
journées
He must be
mondiales,
happy that
des idées comme
that
ça
in
ressortent
a
et
global
avec la
congress like this,
nécessité
these type of ideas come
d'agir
back
ensemble
with the
et d'avoir
need
une
to act
gouvernance
together and to have
coordonnée entre les différents
coordinated
acteurs pour
governance
pouvoir
between the
avancer sur ces
various
sujets.
actors to be able to
En tout cas,
progress
merci
on these
beaucoup
ideas.
pour ce travail
Thank
qui semble
you very
synthèse
much
qui
for
permet
this
quand même à ceux
work
qui n'ont
of
pas pu participer
summarizing with this.
une idée
But
que nous
that means
avions
for
quand nous
those who
proposons
did
ce
not
webinaire
participate,
et que pour tous ceux
is
qui n'ont
that
pas pu
when we
participer
organized
à ces
this
événements mondiaux,
webinar,
c'est quand même
for
pas
all those
simple
who were
d'être présent.
unable to
C'est
participate in
d'essayer
these
de vous faire un
international
peu,
conferences,
pas de
it's not
synthèse, loin
always
de là,
easy,
on n'a
but
pas la
not to
capacité, mais en tout
summarize, we
cas
don't have the
de vous tenir
capacity to
informé
but at least
des
to keep you
enjeux
informed of the
et comment le
challenges and
secteur de l'eau est
how the
traité
water
au sein
sector
de
is
de
treated
ces événements
within
mondiaux,
these
qu'on fasse de
global
la
events
COP30 par exemple,
regarding
mais
COP30, for
également pour
example,
tous
but
ces
also for
événements dédiés
everything
à l'eau
related to
et
these
voir
events
comment les choses
linked to
avancent
water and how things
et les choses vont
move
continuer à
and
avancer
progress, and
au
things will
rythme fait
continue to
de ce dernier
progress
trimestre.
at the rate of this
2026
last
est une année
quarter.
particulièrement chargée
2026 is going to be
et
a
elle le
very
sera également en 2027,
busy
mais déjà
year, and it's going
concentrons
to be
nous sur
also in
2026.
2027. But let's
Nous avons
concentrate first on
répertorié et
2026.
nous
We're going
essaierons
to
d'être
inventory
présents
and try to
à
be
12
present
événements.
in
12
12
événements,
events,
12 endroits de
12,
l'année,
12
12
months of the
événements.
year, 12 events.
C'est du jamais vu.
It's
Donc on
never
a
seen
en
before.
janvier,
In
rapidement,
January, well,
en
quickly, I'm going to
janvier,
go in
là,
January. We're going to
les
have
réunions
the
de haut
meetings,
niveau de
the
préparation à la
high-level meetings
conférence des
for
Nations
preparation
Unies
of the
qui aura
UN
lieu donc
conference
en
that will
début
be held
décembre
in early
donc
December
à Abu Dhabi.
in Abu Dhabi, or in the Emirates at least. It's going to be the 26th and 27th January in Qatar. Yeah, on Dakar, sorry. So, that the Emirates are the Senegal are the two countries preparing for the next UN conference. We will have the opportunity during the global conference, Marrakesh. We'll have time to discuss with the UN representative, Mrs. Marsoudi, we will meet her again and hope to have her with us during the Mediterranean Water Forum. Secondly, in February, we're going to have two events. The first one is the symposium Med Program UNESCO on underground coastal water reserves that will be held in Paris. And this theme is a theme that we have developed with UNESCO for the Mediterranean Forum for this. And we hope to be able to highlight the resources underground, submarine underground waters, so coastal submarine resources as needed. So this is an event in February, as Frederick reminded us also. There will be events on the WEFE in Cyprus that will also allow us to look at the progress made and to go beyond what's been done so far to develop this type of project programs for collaboration between the four sectors. So the Ministerial Declaration in March 27 and 2026, Ministerial Declaration of 43 countries, even if we had one in 2017. This is even more important given the situation we're living in your Mediterranean regions. 43 countries are going to agree on the four themes that Frederick mentioned earlier, and this is an event to be listed in the actions. On the partners of Mediterranean. So, as Emilia reminded us earlier, that after the 25th, so this is an obvious truth here, or La Police, our Italian friends, to organize this CEO summit. So, as he said today, many countries took the bull by the horns here on the water resources and the challenges. So, to propose their activities, I think it's going to be an event to be followed also. So, in April, we have 3 events that are gathered in the same region in the world. It's going to happen in. So for the first 2 will be in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. First of all, the second meeting of the stakeholders of the 11th Water Forum, which will be held in 2027 in Riyadh, and also normally the forum, the Arab Forum of the Arab world, that will be held in the 2 coming days. So it'll be in the 6th and the 9th of April 2026. And the following week, there will be the water week for Oman. So from the 19th to the 23rd of April. Also in May, so they'll have an event as it's a return of the Istanbul Global Forum, which was launched after the Istanbul World Water Forum, and then a few years later, that was after a few years of absence, the Istanbul Forum comes back and will be held in May 2026, and it's an important event which will be present with the UPM and Italy. Friends, we will have in July, early July, for this, of course, a meeting. Our usual meeting, the statutory meetings of the between these. That will be a big moment this year, as it will be 3 months before the Euro-Mediterranean Forum, the Stockholm Water Week, which we don't always participate in, but I think this time we will be there because it's going to be just 1 month before the Euro-Mediterranean meeting. Of course, a year later, from from a month later, from September 29th to 2nd of October. So the Water for Mediterranean Forum in Rome, where we're all going to be there, and we're going to talk or carry water in the Mediterranean to the highest levels. I saw in the questions earlier, why have a Europe track and a desert area, the track? And Emilio answered adequately to say, in fact, it's only one area, your Mediterranean, except that in this area there are different situations, and we need to take this into account. Today, we're all convinced at IME that the lessons from north to the south are done. It's no longer anyone lecturing. So we now have to look at the south of the Mediterranean and use it as an experience. And this is the case in the use of used waters, such as the same for desalination, a certain number of things, even for dam management, because given the great difficulties that we have in the south, we're going to start seeing them in the north. And this experience, we need to learn to be humble enough and look what's happening in the south and not always consider that we have all answers. Of course, technically, we have the solutions, but at the levels of governance and organization, it's far from obvious. And we're working hard on this regarding the business model, regarding the reuse of used waters. And we've seen the example in Tunisia with the European Corsica. So it's the agency RONA, the Corsica agency, that is funding this study of the business model with, of course, ideas to see how we can adapt recommendations that can be done to the case of the region for this. So afterwards, we'll have the LICID International Congress in Marseille, the International Committee of Irrigation and Drainage that will be held from the 12th to the 16th of October. It's an important event, of course, a global world event that is held in the Mediterranean, even more so in Marseille, and then the Cairo Water Week, as reminded earlier by Frederick, on which we participate every year. The first one was held through the first Mediterranean Water Summit for this, and of course the conferences of the UN in the Emirates from the 2nd to the 4th of December 2026. As you can see, a very busy agenda or schedule. We're going to have to make some strategic choices on what messages we wish to transmit. First of all, to be present at a high enough or important enough level to be heard, and also which message to transmit. Regarding the last point, the United Nations conference, we have already applied on a subject that is also covered that you're going to see during the Emilio's presentation on the Euro-Mediterranean forums. It's the link between salt water and soft water or drinkable water, and this is a subject we wish to present to the United Nations. We're done with the presentations. I wish you all, and ladies and gents, great holiday season. A good amount of food, as we say here in Provence, hoping that we have provided the best service possible within our institute. We know it's our objective, and please do not hesitate to be for proposing force for all the challenges facing us in the future. Thank you, everyone, and happy holidays, and inshallah that we will celebrate. Hopefully our friends in Gaza may be able to get a normal life to a certain extent, and see you all very soon.